Hi, and welcome to Nursing Student News. I'm Jennifer, and today's top story, delegation. It's almost time for all of you nursing students to graduate. And guess what? Delegation is not only something you need to know for your boards, it's something you'll need to know when you start working. To tell us a little more about delegation, we have our fellow nursing student and field reporter, Kara, to shed a little light on the subject. Kara?
Thank you, Jen. Well, delegation. What is delegation in nursing? I actually had a lot of time here at the college finding out what delegation is all about. I figured, what a better way to find out about delegation? All I have to do is ask. What does delegation mean to you?
Delegation is understanding what uniformed assistive personnel can do and knowing when you can delegate to them and when you have to do stuff your own self.
It means that I can just give meds and not have to do any bed pans, and I can tell the CNAs to do all the code brown stuff.
Delegation to me is knowing that you're part of a team and that one person can't do all the tasks assigned to them. So in knowing that, you need to know what you can assign to other people and what can be done yourself.
I've been a nurse since 1994. I've been in emergency for my whole career until I came into teaching. What I look at with delegation in nursing is that everybody works together as a team to care for the patient to have the best possible outcome. The nurse, the registered nurse, is the team leader, and as the team leader, it is up to them to make sure that all the different aspects of that patient care gets done.
Now, delegation is really important in nursing, and when you graduate as a nursing RN, you would be given the responsibility by your charge nurse or your manager to delegate certain responsibilities of yours to someone who you think would be able to do that job. That does not mean that you do not have the ultimate responsibility. That patient belongs to you and you are the primary nurse.
All the information I got from my peers and instructors was just awesome, but I wanted to dig a little deeper on my own. Delegation is the process by which one individual is able to accomplish necessary tasks with and through others. It is an important management process and allows organizations to function effectively and efficiently. Delegation is not a new concept. It goes back to the days of Florence Nightingale. It was in 1859 when she clearly stated in her notes on nursing, "If you do it, it is by so much the better, certainly, than if it were not done at all. But can you not ensure that it is done when not done by yourself? Can you ensure that it is not undone when your back is turned? This is what being in charge means," she continued. "The head in charge must see to house hygiene, not do it herself." Ah, the words of Nightingale. It was then that delegation in nursing was born. But even after the birth of delegation, there was a time when the RN performed all nursing care activities for a group of patients. This may have been a desirable approach from a patient care standpoint, but it was very costly. In an effort to contain costs, hospitals restructured and redesigned their staff, adding LPNs and unlicensed assistive personnel, and the structure is what we most commonly see in healthcare facilities today. And just to give you an idea of the numbers, 10 out of 10 registered nurses who have newly graduated will end up delegating. That is how important delegation in nursing is.
Thank you for that report, Kara. That was very nicely done. And speaking of importance, when we return, we will bring you important information about the critical aspects of effective delegation. Don't go away. You're watching Nursing Student News, and if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the critical aspects of effective delegation. To bring you up to speed, we have student nurse and reporter Lucy. Lucy, how are you doing today?
Very good. Thank you for asking, Jennifer. For delegation to be effective and to ensure that the quality of patient care remains high, a number of factors must be considered. It's always a good idea to know these factors before you begin delegating tasks to other people.
The first thing you want to know is when not to delegate. Certain tasks cannot be delegated. You can't delegate a task that is out of the scope of practice of the person you're trying to delegate it to. In other words, you can't ask a CNA to do assessments or evaluations that require nursing judgment or skill. This is for the RN to do only. The second critical aspect is identifying whom to delegate to. You can only delegate to a person who is competent to perform the task delegated. The RN needs to understand the level of care that needs to be performed and the level of competency of the potential staff members to be delegated. This means that it's your responsibility as a nurse to read the Nurse Practice Act in your state. This describes the scope of practice for RNs and can be purchased from your state board of nursing or can be found online. The third critical aspect is determining what to delegate. The task delegated to assistive personnel should not require nursing judgment while being carried out. This implies that the task should be routine in nature and where the client's condition is relatively stable. We've said it before, but it bears repeating. Activities that require special nursing skill, knowledge, or experience cannot be delegated. You'd be surprised at what your CNAs will agree to do for you.
I can't believe how behind I am. Sherry, you know how to check placement of an NG tube, right?
Sure.
And make sure you check the air bubbles in the stomach.
Air bubbles? Do you see the raised eyebrows in conjunction with the slight smirk? These are clues that your CNA is practicing out of scope. The fourth critical aspect of effective delegation is supervising the delegated tasks. This means that an individual with greater skill and education is available, usually in person. For delegation to be successful, there has to be sufficient personnel and adequate time to provide the needed supervision and follow-up. If either of these is missing, problems may result. The fifth and last critical aspect of effective delegation is matching the task to the person to whom it is delegated. When delegating, you have the responsibility for ensuring that a match exists between what care the client needs to have and the level of competence and understanding of the person being asked to provide that care. This way, you can rest assured that the tasks delegated are not beyond the abilities of those you assign them to.
That wasn't so bad, was it? They say if you follow those guidelines, in all likelihood, you'll have also followed the 5 rights of successful delegation. These include the right task, right circumstance, right person, right direction, and right supervision. All of this may seem a little confusing, but oh, I almost forgot. Maybe we can bring up that really cool diagram we found in the reading. Jennifer, do we have it?
Yep.
Here it is. When we look at patient care needs, this diagram sums up the tasks at each level. As you can see, the RN skills are listed as assessment, IV medications, blood administration, planning care, physician orders, and teaching. When we look at the LPN skills, they can do vital signs, some IV medications depending on state nurse practice acts and institution, and they can also do physical care. Then there's ancillary personnel like your physical therapist, occupational therapists, nutritionists, and speech therapists. Then finally, the unlicensed assistive personnel, or CNA. They can feed, take care of hygiene needs, and physical care for the patient.
Hopefully that made it a little bit more simple. What do you think, Jennifer?
Yes, it did. And thank you for such critical information. Speaking of information, when we return, we will be presenting our case scenario of the show. This could be your chance to win some movie tickets, and that is something you won't want to miss.